Well, the last couple of days we dealt with a little bit of rain in the New York metropolitan area. We were delayed about a half hour at the outset yesterday. The combination of the celebration for Mike Piazza, the retirement of his jersey, and some rain. And today we've been delayed in the neighborhood of 30-35 minutes because of rain in the area. It is cleared up enough for now that we're going to begin the baseball game. Rockies trying to sweep the Mets in 4 straight. They did that here about 4 years ago. But last year, again, they lost the season series 7-0 to the eventual National League champs. So to be able to return that favor, pretty sweet, as the Rockies now look to head the other direction. As they've gotten to 500, now it's to build on that. Charlie Blackmon, we played that soundbite earlier today when Charlie said last night to Mark Stout, he said, so what are we, the definition of average? He said, we aspire to greater things, and I loved hearing that.
We loved hearing it, and we noticed you can see the confidence in the clubhouse this morning. When you're walking in, you see the guys, it's a little pep in their step. They're walking with their chest bowled out. You look at the Mets on the other side of it. Here's a team that is in desperate need of a win. You're throwing the God of Thunder at the Rockies tonight.
I thought that young lady was throwing.
Nope.
It's going to be Thor. Charlie Blackmon at 305. He will lead things off for the Rockies. And yes, it's another tough assignment. The Rockies are winning a lot of ball games, and they face some top shelf pitchers. Clearly they'll see another one today in Noah Syndergaard. Southwest batting order. DJ will bat second. You'll notice that Nolan is getting a day off. Trevor Story with the thumb is not in there. So David Dahl, who has a 6-game hitting streak, has been outstanding. He's going to bat cleanup in his 7th major league game. Mark Reynolds will follow him. Then it's Descalso at third. Christian Adames at short, so a different left side of the infield. Tony Walters is doing the catching. Tony's been swinging the bat well. And Chad Bettis will oppose Noah Syndergaard. Syndergaard making his 20th start. Right before the break, he threw out of the bullpen because of the way the schedule worked. But the numbers are great. You break them all down, whether it's day or night, home or away. This guy's dominant.
He's dominant. He's pitching with the bone spur, and more importantly, all the velocities for Noah Syndergaard, they lead baseball. Fastball velocity over 98 miles an hour. Number 1, slider. That's a 91 mile an hour slider. That leads baseball. 90 mile an hour changeup leads baseball. The percentages on the slider has jumped up. Last year, would only use that slider 2% of the time. It has jumped all the way up to 21% of the time. More importantly, he leads baseball now in whiff percentages on off speed. He is a true strikeout pitcher.
Well, behind him defensively, this is how the Mets will align and keep changing up their lineup, shuffling their batting order, trying to find the right mix to get something going offensively. And Cespedes, you'll note, is out of the lineup again. He's really battling that quad injury. So the outfield, different for the 4th straight day. Conforto will be in left. Alejandro De Aza will be in center for the 8th time this year. And the Cheyenne native, Cheyenne East High School, Brandon Nemo's in right field. It's Flores, Cabrera, Walker, and Loney in the infield. And Rene Rivera, who caught on Thursday and had 3 hits. He's back behind the plate catching Syndergaard. So after a delay of 35 to 40 minutes, we will have first pitch. Syndergaard facing Charlie Blackmon. Charlie's had a huge series. 2 doubles and a walk last night. He had the 4-hit ball game on Friday, his first 4-hit game of the year. He's had 3 stretches this year where he's produced at least a 10-game hitting streak. It's been another outstanding year for Charlie Blackmon. So here we go. And the first pitch of the ball game is a fastball at 98. That's what he'll sit on, 98 to 100. Hardest throwing starting pitcher in baseball. And honestly, it's not that close.
It's not even close.
And you have to get so geared up to hit that fastball and start early that sometimes you're going to swing at pitches that maybe you're out of the strike zone.
And that's always going to be the challenge when you face a pitcher like Syndergaard. Cannot miss the mistakes he makes. You look up in the zone, even though it's a fastball at 98, you can gear up for 98. Major league hitters can time velocity. That's a 90 mile an hour changeup.
Stupid. Shouldn't be allowed.
Well, the splits for Syndergaard against left-handers. Lefties are hitting 274. Right-handers obviously going to have a much trouble time with him, 223.
This is fouled off. Rivera's going to give chase, but it's well back. Well, the thing about Syndergaard, as great as he is, and his reputation and the nickname, and you look at the body and the flowing locks, you know, he's 6'6", 240. He's built like a Greek god. He does give up some runs here and there. It's not going to be in abundance, so you got to figure you take advantage of the opportunities that do present themselves and win a low-scoring game. This ball's lined the other way.
So what makes Charlie so valuable is that he can extend an at-bat. Down quickly to Syndergaard, spoiling off some pitches.
Charlie, as you said, seeing a bunch of pitches right out of the gate. He's 0 for 2 lifetime against Syndergaard. The league average just under 3.9 pitches, and Charlie's around 4.1. And he went off speed. I would think anytime you get anything off speed, you're like, okay, thank you.
Well, now when you look at the whiff percentage, it leads baseball. Great story I just read about Syndergaard. Started throwing the slider a lot more this season versus last year, and he learned his grip listening to Bull Durham. In a scene, they told Nuke LaLoosh to hold it like an egg. And so he's like, oh, well, I've been holding my slider, gripping it really hard. The Bull Durham line, he started loosening up his slider grip, and now he has one of the best sliders in baseball.
The movie has spawned so many talented big leaguers through the years. 2-2. Well, Charlie's having an epic at bat. That was a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. And your confidence grows. If not for this at bat, maybe the next one. David Dahl, a great example of it. He said after the ball game, when he saw Bartolo Colon the first time, he said, I've never seen movement in my life like that. He said he got out front on a sinker. Next time, he said, I'm really concentrating on staying in the middle of the field. And lo and behold, he hits one in the seats. But he learned a lot from that first at bat. This is exactly how you want to start if you're the Rockies.
Well, you're shaking Syndergaard's confidence because he's so used to striking people out. Nearly 11 strikeouts per night, over 11 strikeouts per night, and he's not able to put Charlie away.
And Charlie drives this with authority to right, and the catch is made by Nima. But that is a great, not a good at bat, that's a great at bat. Charlie ended up hitting the ball with authority on the 11th pitch.
11th pitch, Charlie's able to drop the barrel down on it. Brandon Nimmo, the athlete that he is from Cheyenne. That's a great play. We met some guys from Cheyenne last night coming out of the hotel looking for some pizza late night, and two young guys were coming to see Brandon Nimmo.
Yeah, they were excited about it. He's the 16th guy that was born in Wyoming to make it to the big leagues. #1 pick of the Mets a few years ago out of Cheyenne East. LeMahieu at the plate with a .323 average. And DJ takes that pitch down low. It's 2-0. I think also, wouldn't you say, so Charlie goes back to the dugout. 24 other guys just watched him take that at bat. From the position player standpoint, it helps your confidence. Look at the AB Charlie had.
Yeah, Charlie almost got him.
And now DJ's putting together a good at bat. It's 3-0.
Charlie was down 1-2 after 3 pitches and worked it to an 11 pitch at bat and squared a ball up to right field where Nimmo had to make a diving play.
That's called a strike. It's 3-1. Jeff Kellogg's the crew chief. He is behind the plate this afternoon. John Tumpane at first, Chris Caccione at second. And Alan Porter, who did a nice job last night with balls and strikes, he's at third. 3-1 on LeMahieu. Rembrandt at 99.
DJ 340 average since May the 12th. That leads the National League. As we had Mike Petriello the other day, surprising number of 100-mile-an-hour balls off of DJ's bat. Ranks in the top 5.
To me, it's really an amazing evolution. Watching baseball every day is when you were playing, but you know, as we do for a number of years, the ability for guys to seemingly, I don't want to say easily, but it's become easier for guys to catch up with 97 plus is remarkable.
I think when we're watching, as average fastball velocity increases, you're noticing guys, they're losing little hitches where they're starting their leg kick just slightly earlier. If the guy sees it multiple times, they'll time it up.
And this ball's hit to deep right field, and it's Nimmo again. But that's a real solid at bat also. So it's taken Syndergaard 18 pitches to get 2 outs. And that'll bring up Cargo. Cargo sliding up to the 3 spot. He's been steadily in that 4-hole for a while, hitting behind Nolan. Earlier in the year, he was primarily the guy that hit 3rd. And with Nolan taking a seat today, Cargo back in a spot he is very familiar with. There's Nolan, just the 3rd day off for Arenado this year. And Cargo lifts this ball to center field. Got underneath it, and Diaz is going to make the catch. So it's a 1-2-3 start for Noah Syndergaard. Chad Bettis will have the baseball for the Rockies when we come back. As we go to the bottom of the first, we'll take a look at the Mets lineup. Alejandro De Aza is going to lead it off against Chad Bettis. It's a Mets team that lost 7-2 yesterday. They scored only 1 run in each of the first 2 ball games, so they have 4 runs in the series. Cabrera, Loney, the top 3 in the order. Neil Walker has swung it well in the series, 10 for 22 this year overall against the Rockies. Michael Conforto will bat 5th. Wilmer Flores, who was hitting 4th the other day, he'll bat 6th. Brandon Nimmo's in there, Rene Rivera, and Noah Syndergaard. It's been a good run for Chad Bettis. First of all, the team has won 8 of his last 9 starts, and over his last 5, 3-1 with a 3.38 ERA. brings a great deal of confidence always to the mound, but he's in a good place right now as he faces Diaza, and the first pitch is on the outside corner for a strike. It's all about pitch mix, isn't it, for him?
It really is. Steve Foster and Chad Bettis have been discussing over the last couple starts, making sure he's changing up how he attacks teams. And 2 starts ago, he used his curveball 21% of the time. The last start against Baltimore, used it 12%. He's mixing his slider in more. The last start uses changeup more. So it'll be interesting to see what approach he takes tonight.
That's a great bunt, and it's going to stay fair. So Diaza bunt single, and that'll bring up Asdrubal Cabrera. Rockies with some changes defensively. Not in the outfield, it's Dahl Blackman and Cargo. In the infield on the left side, with Nolan getting the day off, Descalso will start there. He started in 5 different spots. Christian Adames for Trevor Story at shortstop. LeMahieu and Reynolds. Tony Walters getting the Sunday start. Strike on Cabrera. Descalso is kind of inching in, thinking the Mets, with their struggles to score, may go small ball with another bunt. Now the strike, he'll back up to double play depth.
Now you look at the Mets lineup today. No Jonas Cespedes, Travis d'Arnaud's on the bench, Curtis Granderson's on the bench. The team OPS for this group, there's not one player in the lineup today with OPS over 800. James Loney today, the highest one. They are going to go
There's the
small
bunt.
ball.
Walters has a chance at second. Good throw on the first. Safe. That's a great play by Walters. He practiced that coming out of the chute on a bunt that doesn't go far to get that force at second, and he made a fine throw to Adames. 1 out. Large play there.
Just a former middle infielder with such good footwork, and Christian Adames whips that ball back around. Good baseball play.
You know, if you watch Adames, as we get to watch every day, take ground balls, do his early work, he is Dr. Smooth, man.
You could make an argument that he probably has as good a hands as anybody on that Rockies lineup infield, which is remarkable.
Yeah, this ball's lifted to right. Cargo near the line has a play, and Loney's retired for the 2nd out. That'll bring up Neil Walker, switch hitting second baseman. 2012, no second baseman in the National League has hit more homers than Neil Walker. He was signed to replace Daniel Murphy, hero of the postseason offensively for the Mets last year. And what a year he's having for Washington. And he's had a great year against the Mets for the Nats, which sure pains Mets fans to no end. That's outside, 1-0. Walker, a career .321 hitter against Rockies pitching. Bettis out of Monterey High School in Lubbock, Texas. Drafted out of high school, did not sign. Stayed in his hometown, pitched for Texas Tech. That's where the Rockies grabbed him. Sliders away, 2-1.
The staff as a whole has 19 quality starts in the month of July, and that's the most that they've ever had since June of 2009. So it'll be a chance to break that record for the Rockies, and just based on the way the starters have been going, each guy's trying to keep pace with the other.
So one more quality start than all of last year, and we're not out of July. That's something. Starting rotation, and congrats to Jorge with his 100th victory yesterday. Starting rotation. He's done such a good job. They're third since the break in innings pitched. 22nd prior to the break. Old line about use the bullpen when you want to. This ball's well hit to right. Cargo's going to watch it kick off the wall, and it takes a bad pop. And a run will score as Walker ends up at third, and hurting himself in the process was Cabrera. He's done. Cabrera pulled something. He can't even make it to the dugout. Mets players have dropped like flies in this series. They've played 2 of the 4 without Cespedes. Lagares had to go on the disabled list.
They're missing Lucas Duda. They have David Wright with the spinal stenosis. That's not a good sign. Walker gets a pitch he can handle. Cargo gives chase to it. It hits the bottom of the fence right off the chain link in the concrete. It just kicks out.
Now you got to bear down and get Conforto with Walker at third.
Watch him as he turned third. Yeah, it looks like he rolled his ankle on the base.
Weekly hit the second. DJ's got it. So the Mets get a run, and we'll wait and see on Cabrera. If it is something he can walk off, or he's got to be replaced. They also lost Jose Reyes earlier in the week. By court. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the 2016 Toyota Tundra and your hometown Toyota stores. By Coors Light, whatever your mountain, climb on. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Citi Field on a Sunday, the Rockies looking for the rarity of 4-game sweep. They had one recently at home against Atlanta. 1-0. New York on the triple by Walker. So Cabrera has to come out. Flores slides from third to short, and Kelly Johnson is in the ball game at third base. Here's David Dahl against Syndergaard, and he takes a changeup for ball 1. Dahl is hitting all 6 ball games. This ball sliced to left. This could be a problem. It's a fair ball, and it's going to bounce into that corner, and Dahl strides it into second. He's got a 7-game hitting streak. Game's pretty easy, huh?
He has a magic wand, and he throws it wherever he wants. He's a 6th different Rocky this season to hit in that cleanup spot. Targo with the most at bats, and David Dahl first day hitting cleanup. Just take this fastball at 98, shoot it opposite field. Good way for the Rockies to answer right back after giving up a run with 2 outs. You have David Dahl with the good speed at second base.
Here's Mark Reynolds. And he takes outside. I thought in the first inning, albeit it's very early, Rockies went 1-2-3, lengthy at bats from your leadoff man Charlie Blackmon, DJ LeMahieu, same deal. Cargo swung at the first pitch, but they were all for a guy that throws 100 and has the reputation of Syndergaard, and this is top shelf guy. But they weren't uncomfortable at bats. Did you notice that?
I noticed the same thing, and he sets up on the first base side of the rubber, and he is primarily glove side command. So he stays on the outside part of the plate over and over again. For a hitter, if you just have to worry about 1/2 of the plate, thank you.
And for a guy that is, maybe the premier power pitcher in the game, or certainly on a short list of them, he doesn't spray stuff around. I mean, he's not effectively wild. He doesn't walk guys.
No. If he started establishing the fastball into the Rockies hitters like that pitch right there, it'll open up the entire strike zone for him. And as Reynolds just saw, throw it in there, it's not even close to the strike zone. I don't have to worry about it. I'm sitting 3-1. Look for the fastball away and take a swing, move David Dahl, maybe score a run. And even 3-2. The 98-mile-an-hour fastball, if he throws his slider off the plate, that's ball 4.
This is one of those opportunities Walt talked about before the game. You don't get many, you got to cash them in. And that's a great slider called strike 3. Mark thought it was below the knees. Jeff Kellogg is the boss, and it's a called strike 3, 1 out.
Now that was a good pitch by Syndergaard with the 3-2 count. Fastball count, you'd expect it, and you see him throw the curveball. Rivera, well-known receiving catcher. Right at the bottom of the zone.
Descalso at the plate, and he lines one to right center field. That'll get the run home. David Dahl striding toward the plate. The throw is cut off by Loney. 1-1. Daniel Descalso. He didn't waste any time, did he?
It's just been one of these things with these Rockies. When you're on a roll, you have no idea who's going to come through for you. And Daniel Descalso was 3 for his last 19. First pitch swinging against a God of Thunder. Fires one into the outfield. Descalso not waiting. It's a fastball up in the zone, pitches away. And the athletic David Dahl. Never breaking stride.
Christian Adames at the plate. He takes ball 1.
Dahl's fun to watch.
Dahl can affect the game in so many ways. Walt's getting nightly questions about him after, and I loved his response late last night. Somebody mentioned his power. He said, he has really power to all fields. He said, but it's not just that. He runs well. He fields really well. And he's see him. There's a lot of different ways he can help you win a baseball game. And he got the touche on the kid last night, late in the 9th inning with 1 out. You're still cracking up about that one. Thomas pushes it foul.
You just see him waving the finger.
He did the Matumbo. And then David didn't do it, but Charlie got to look back at him and do the not so fast Matumbo.
He gave him the wave, waved him off.
Yeah, see you later. Runner going, and it's slowly hit to Lonely. And they'll go to Syndergaard for the out, but because the Rockies put Descalso in motion, they have another runner in scoring position for Walters. So here's last night. Flores thinks he hits it out, and Dahl thinks he's going to make the catch fairly easy.
No, it's not yours. And then he reversed.
Yeah.
Fan interference. See you later.
Yep. Tip of the cap from Charlie. Psych. So he's holding up 4 fingers. They're going to pass on Tony Walters. No messing around for Terry Collins. A lot of times early in the ball game, you see a pitcher, especially one the quality Syndergaard, go after the 8th place hitter and then have the pitcher leading off the next inning. But Terry Collins saying, no, we're gonna play it safe. Go after Bettis here and let you have the top of the lineup next inning. That's assuming Bettis is able to throw a hit out there.
Well, I think Terry Collins sees the same thing that you and I have noticed already. Rockies hitters aren't fooled by what Syndergaard has on the mound today. Last thing a pitcher ever wants to do is walk a hitter. They trust their stuff, and when you read about Syndergaard and the confidence that he has, he's like, hey, what are we doing? I want to throw. I can get this guy out. Nope. Get the pitcher out.
So Bettis comes up with 2 on, a run in. You can join in on the conversation today and every day. Send us your thoughts, photos, questions. Use Twitter or Instagram, but you must use the hashtag Toyota Talk. We get some great responses every day. Bettis takes strike 1. Chad, a couple of RBIs this year. Never know, Chad. Let it fly. Let it fly a little earlier.
Yeah, you have to swing, you have to swing pretty much now. Swing now. All it takes is one good swing, though.
Rocks as a staff have 12 RBIs, 5th best in the National League. Giants are #1. They have 24 ribbies. They got Samardzija. They got Bumgarner. Bumgarner probably is counted for half of them. Well, not this time. Maybe not next time either, looking at that swing. But the Rockies will get the top of the order next inning. Dahl had a double leading off. Descalso delivered him.
New York, there's Christian Adames. He starts at short today. Trevor Story's got that swollen left thumb from the injury that occurred yesterday. This is the 106th game for Christian Adames in a Rockies uniform, but it's only the 32nd time he started in the field, but Walt Weiss is okay with that.
I've always said that I'm very comfortable whenever he's in the game. I'm comfortable when the ball's hit to him. I'm comfortable when he's going up there taking a tough at bat. He's a good player. He's just his role right now is what it is, and he's handled it very well.
Yeah, Drew Spelly. So this is the 50th time he's been in the field in a game, but his 106th game, a lot of pinch hit appearances, and he's been here for parts of the last 3 seasons. So we'll see what happens with Story's thumb, but he's out there at short today.
I think Walt said it best, and that is representative of what his teammates think also. Spilly, I don't know how many times you were in a situation where there was a guy that you didn't fully believe in offensively or defensively. I'm sure it happens even at the big league level. This ball is in the air to Dahl, and Flores is retired. But in the case of Adames, his teammates have great belief in him, and it starts with the manager.
Puts him in situations where he can succeed, and reminds me so much of the Johnny Herrera, somebody that can play multiple spots, sure-handed, switch hitter. Team loves it. Teammates just adore him. I mean, most of the guys gravitate towards Christian Adames. He's smiling, gets his work done.
Well, Trevor Story having to sit this one out, and you can see the bandage on that left thumb just to make sure he doesn't bang it. Keeps it immobilized. It swelled up last night. Swelling was down a little bit this morning. He is sore. Here's how he initially hurt it. Jammed it on the bag, and then when he dove the very next inning, early in the inning, he aggravated it and had to come out. Not going to play today. He's hopeful that he could play on Tuesday when the Rockies open up that home series against the Dodgers. The best news is that the x-rays were negative, and it doesn't appear to be anything more serious. Just one of those day-to-day deals. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Nemo. Calling him Nemo, and I apologize. It's Nemo. So hooked on the. I just saw the movie.
We went together. It's great.
It's beautiful. 3-2, and Nemo walks. That'll bring up Rivera. '21 starts this year. First 9 were solid, next 7 rough, and the last 5 have been very good. A whip of just 1.19 over his last 5. But when he pitches, the Rockies win. 8 of their last 9.
They also give him quite a bit of run support, 6.92 runs per game during that time frame.
Rene Rivera fouls this pitch off. Nemo at first base. Rivera has stolen some time from Travis d'Arnaud. It's more of a split deal behind the plate. Rivera's hit, and he's received the ball well. They're 5 games over 500 in his starts behind the dish, 17 and 12. He got locked up there. Good pitch. 0-2. Bettis trying to get a ground ball here. Rockies are swung over toward the left side. Adames cheating toward the 5.5 hole, and LeMahieu's positioned almost up the middle. Vera tough out on Thursday, threw out 3 hits. If he does it again, he'll be hitting cleanup the way the Mets have struggled offensively.
The Mets have been tied to Jonathan Lucroy. Lucroy was in a trade discussion last night where a deal was done, Milwaukee to Cleveland. And Lucroy exercising his vetoing rights, with Cleveland being on his 8-team no-trade clause. And now the Mets are back in the conversation to get Lucroy. You look at this lineup and you look at the guys that have gone on the disabled list. Duda, Reyes, Wright, maybe now Cabrera, Matt Harvey. This team's looking to do something.
Well, last year when they got Cespedes, that pushed them over the top. It gave that offense a huge boost. He was terrific after the trade. 2-2, good pitch. Well received by Walters, but it was inside.
Walters so good at holding the strike. Pitch for Jeff Kellogg. Kellogg wasn't buying it.
And he lost him. He was ahead 0-2. Back-to-back walks. Nimmo to second and Rivera to first, and that'll bring up Syndergaard.
Syndergaard has the same amount of sacrifice bunts as he has home runs this season.
Two sack bunts, 2 home runs. Pulled back on the breaking ball, and it's 1-0.
In fact, Syndergaard has a higher on base plus slugging at 589 than Alejandro Diaz. That's the Mets leadoff hitter, who has a 581 OPS.
3 pitchers with
a
couple of home runs this year. Arrieta, Bumgarner, and Syndergaard. Tim Tuffle and Syndergaard getting together. And that, you know what, from a position player or pitcher standpoint, you have to call timeout and you're not sure at any level, go down and visit with the third base coach.
I don't mind it.
Rather than you think something's on or maybe you were wrong. And he was swinging, and that's a strike. Did you ever find that you had a third base coach that he delivered the signal so quickly that sometimes you couldn't pick it up?
No, I never really had that problem with that. I mean, you have to go fast. And usually the signs are pretty simple. They're pretty dumbed down at Major League level. There's about 3 signs. It's usually bill of the cap, means steal. Belt usually means bunt. In your leg.
Even at the big league level.
Yeah, it's in an order.
Change up 2-2. Bettis throwing a lot of pitches here in the second. Got Flores on a fly ball to left. That swing the bat, bunts off.
Yeah.
You going with that?
Old pound it means swing it.
Good pitch. And Syndergaard Didn't pound the baseball, but he pounds the bat into the dirt. 2 gone. And that'll bring up Alejandro De Aza. First strikeout for Chad Bettis. We're in a 1-1 game, bottom of 2. De Aza had a bunt single in the first.
Diaz signed with the Mets late in December, and that move around baseball was a head-scratching one, just because the need wasn't quite there yet. Well, in the Mets' defense, they weren't quite sure if Yoenis Cespedes was going to return to the Mets, so they were trying to build some depth. And then after the price tag with Cespedes started to drop down, and he added an opt-out clause for after the season, Cespedes signs back with the Mets, and Diaz becomes more or less an expendable player that they had to carry.
Two and one on Diaz. Kelly Johnson on deck. At first and second, 2 outs. And that's smoked to center. It'll be a run-scoring hit for De Aza, and it's 2-1. So the Mets, who has struggled more than any other team in baseball hitting with runners in scoring position, get a clutch hit from De Aza to retake the lead.
Diaz was 2 for his last 23 prior to coming into today's game, and the last 2 at-bats, back-to-back innings. 2 singles.
And now it's the first AB for Kelly Johnson. Again, he came into the ball game for his Drupal Cabrera. Cabrera scored in the first inning on a triple by Neil Walker and rolled his ankle going around third base. He hobbled to the plate and then crawled basically to the dugout. Kelly Johnson's got a lot of pop. 3 on the right side. Here's the 1-0, and that's at the belt. And there's Cabrera rolling it. Bettis has gotten in this situation a couple times today ahead of hitters and hasn't been able to finish hitters. Back-to-back walks of Nimmo and Rivera. And it's hurt him with the base hit by De Aza. Couldn't induce a swing there. It's 2-2.
And even though De Aza came through against Chad Bettis with a 2-out base hit, here's versus the Rockies pitching staff with runners in scoring position.
Got him with the sinker.
113 batting average.
Bettis not happy though. 44 pitches to navigate 2 innings. He's given up a marker in each of the first 2 frames. 2-1 New York. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Tavern Downtown. Visit Tavern Downtown after Rockies home games and get 2-for-1 draft beers with your same-day ticket. With Ryan Spilborghs and Mark Stout, Rockies trying to sweep the Mets 4 straight and complete what would be a 6-1 road trip, and also push the club a game over 500. But they trail 2-1 as we go to the 3rd inning. Top of the order, Blackmon to face Noah Syndergaard. And he was up there for a half hour beginning the ball game, or so it seemed. He had a 11 pitch at bat before lining out to right field. And it started with him behind 1-2, and then he fouled off an assortment of pitches. See how it plays out here, what he learned that first AB. Syndergaard elevates in the strike zone. He's ahead quickly, 0-2 on Blackmon. Charlie's average when he went 2 for 16 slipped briefly below 300. It's been tremendously hot the last couple days. 6 hits. He's got the average to 305. Spits on that breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Rockies on the final day of July have a 15-11 record in the month of July. First time since August of 2012. They've been above 500 in a month not named April. Blackmon hitting .364 on this road trip with the recent hot stretch. Rockies 12-4 second half mark, the best in baseball. And Charlie has worked it full.
The Rockies are making Syndergaard work. 45 pitches already. Syndergaard averages about 15 pitches per inning.
And Charlie bounces it to Loney. One out, LeMahieu coming up. The Coors Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. Well, here's the Rockies plus 500 records all time in July. The last time, 2009. We all recall what happened in 2009. Rockies won a franchise best 92 ball games, went to the postseason. 07 also, the World Series year. They were 6 over 500. And DJ fouls off the curveball. Stu Cole making friends wherever he goes.
As long as he throws out baseballs.
That's right. No, Stu's such a good guy. Makes friends even when he's not doling out gifts. That's at the knees.
That's the first fastball he's thrown inside for a strike.
LeMahieu hit the ball to deep right his first time up. Tries to come in again. Syndergaard, originally a 38th pick overall. Supplemental first round pick of Toronto. Came in the R.A. Dickey deal. Remember, Dickey wins the Cy Young, Knuckleballer wins the Cy Young, and then gets traded in the offseason for a package of players. And one of them was Noah Syndergaard.
Travis d'Arnaud, another name in that deal that came from Toronto to the New York Mets. The 2010 draft for the Mets ended up being a fantastic draft. 7th overall, Matt Harvey. 9th round, Jacob deGrom. In that 2010 draft where Syndergaard was drafted 38th overall, ends up coming to the Mets. Ends up being a pretty good group of arms from that 2010 draft.
This guy's the antithesis to Dickey, right? Fluttering knuckleballs. This guy's the hardest thrower in the game.
You can tell with body language with Syndergaard starting to get frustrated. The Rockies hitters are fouling off a lot of his good off-speed pitches. I mentioned at the at the Open, 48% of his off-speed pitches are swung on and missed.
And he gets LeMahieu to swing over the top of a fastball at 99.
Good running fastball down to DJ, 99 miles an hour. And it's not even close. Fastball velocity nearly a mile an hour over the next best with Nathan Eovaldi.
Cargo swung at the first pitch he saw and hit a fly ball to center field in the first inning. Cargo riding a 12-game hitting streak. Well, we thought it was an ankle with Cabrera. I guess he strained his patellar tendon in his left knee. That's why he had to depart.
I did that years ago in 2005, where I strained my patella tendon, and it ended up, I told you, I was one of the first athletes in professional sports to have a stem cell to help repair it.
2-1. That worked out for you, but how long was the rehab on it?
Not long. Took a couple weeks, but it was inpatient. Had to get put under.
Here's the 2-1 to Cargo, and it's 3-1.
Not a lot of, we're not seeing the snap on the slider. You see Syndergaard constantly looking up at the radar. There's several different spots as you watch him throw a pitch. Notice how he'll peek towards the corner. That's where he's looking at the velocity. Get the ball and take a peek really quick.
I'm amazed how many pitchers do that. Check if they're throwing it as hard as they feel like it came out of their hand. Cargo drives this a mile, but it's foul. That's a second deck shot, but it was fouled by about 40 feet.
On average for Syndergaard, it takes him about 45 pitches to get through 3 innings.
It's going to take him more than 60.
Well, we've talked to Walt about this team of late on the stretch. We're talking offense. Not a lot of empty at-bats. The team, they've faced a lot of pretty solid starters, and they've grinded through the at-bats. That's part of the reason why the team's done so well. Good at-bat by Cargo.
That's what I mean. Listen, Syndergaard's great. We all know that.
We want him to defend the galaxy for us.
Exactly. He's the guy. He looks the part. But the Rockies are not having, go back to something I said earlier, uncomfortable ABs. This ball is rifled to deep right, and Nimmo's out there. So nothing to show for it, but Cargo, like Blackman before him, DJ in the first inning, high quality ABs. 2-1, New York. Mets 2, Rockies 1. We go to the bottom of the third inning. Today's news and notes brought to you by All Copy Products. Well, let's take a look at the National League West standings. Here's where they were at the All-Star break. The Giants way out in front of the Rockies by 16 games, 6.5 north of the Dodgers. Giants finally won yesterday, just their third win in the second half. But the Rockies have made up 8 games on the Giants, and they have the Dodgers coming in on Tuesday. Dodgers lost last night to Arizona. Beauty of baseball. So when you think you know what's going to transpire, think again. That pitch was stolen by Tony Walters. Great job of selling that pitch. It was below the knees to James Loney, but called a strike by Jeff Kellogg. Here's the 0-2 now.
The reason why Tony's able to steal so many pitches, get those called strikes, is he's able to set up his catcher's glove below the knee of most of the batters. So anytime he reaches up, it looks like a strike.
That's a beautiful pitch on the outside corner. Loney says, wait, you didn't throw me a strike. Well, you got to get going, though. That's the way it works. That's an interesting little getup. He's got the stirrups and the orange sanitary.
See how low he sets up that glove. The glove is below the kneecap. Sometimes you'll see catchers that aren't very flexible in their hips. They set the glove about even with the knee. So anytime that they reach down in the zone, it looks like the ball has been taken out of the strike zone. Anytime they reach up, the ball pretty much gets hit hard.
Curveball bounces. It's 1-0 on Neil Walker, who tripled off the base of the right field wall. That was a bad break for Cargo because he's assuming it's going to hit that mesh part of the fence and then die. That's what will happen, but it hit the very bottom, and as you described, Spilly, that's a hard size, probably cement with a little pad over it, and it shot past Cargo, and that enabled Cabrera to score. That's another base hit for Walker. Man, he's starting to swing it. 1-out single for Walker. 4 hits for the Mets. But again, I don't know if Cabrera scores, even though there's 2 outs.
I don't think at all.
Even before he hurt his patella, he doesn't run well.
He wasn't running well in that particular play.
Michael Conforto hit a weak ground ball to second. He's at the plate. Drafted out of Oregon State. He was 3 times an All-American there. Pac-12 Player of the Year twice at Oregon State.
The Mets have high hopes for Conforto. Last year in a very short stint, 170 at bats, 9 homers and 26 RBIs. Had a fantastic playoff run, including a couple home runs in the World Series.
He's 0 for his last 10. And that's in there for a strike. Conforto from late May to late June went 8 for 75, and that earned him a trip to AAA. 2-2.
Remembering watching him last season, what made him such a good hitter was his ability to go opposite field. And so far, the at-bats that I've seen over the last couple days, trying to pull the baseball.
No swing. More and more deep counts. They kind of begin the same way with Bettis. He gets ahead and then nibbles, and next thing you know, it's 3-2. Now Walker at first. See if they put him in motion. 2-1 New York. Not going, and it's fouled back. Another 3-2, and this time Walker was going, so one play, and that's to get the out at first.
The Rockies are currently seeking nominations for the 14th Annual Adult Leadership Award for individuals who have demonstrated a commitment to the Hispanic community. Visit Rockies.com/leadership for more information.
So Wilmer Flores, who hit the ball in the air to left field, will come up. Flores hit that ball that the fan interfered on in the 9th inning yesterday after the game. And so there were 3 options for the crew in New York. They could say, as they did, fan interference, batter out, which was, to me, a very reasonable finish on it, or conclusion, if you will, because it looked like Dahl, although it was at the very top of the wall, was poised to make the catch. They could have said no fan interference, it's a home run, which clearly there was fan interference. He'd reached over the wall. They also could have awarded a double. And Wilmer Flores, that was his argument in the post game. That was Terry Collins' argument as he came out, and you can't come out after play has been reviewed, so he was dismissed with a couple outs in the 9th inning. And Flores wears one, and now he's looking at Bettis. What's that? I mean, without he's trying to hit Flores in a 2-1 ball game, especially with a left-handed bat coming up.
And the reaction of Chad Bettis after he threw that pitch showed me that there was no intent. Instantly the head snaps back because there was mislocation. And when your team is struggling like the New York Mets, every little thing is going to become a frustration. Wilmer saying, come on, man. It wasn't on purpose. Watch Chad's reaction.
So 2 on for Nimmo. He walked and scored in the 2nd. And the sinker's low, 1-0. It's been work today for Chad Bettis.
It's been work for Syndergaard as well. Both pitchers not able to get the hitters when they're in front of them. Able to put him away.
Line drive, opposite field, base hit. Dahl up with the baseball, throw home's not going to be in time. It's cut off by Descalso. And the fact that Walker moved up on the ground ball to second because he was put in motion pays dividends for the Mets. They now have a 3-1 lead. They're getting the timely hits that have eluded them so much this season. So the Wyoming native with his 5th career RBI.
The Mets with the club low 204, runners in scoring position. Nimmo hits it against the shift.
Lowest batting average with runners in scoring position in Mets history is .210. That was back in 1981. There, you said well below that. It's fouled off by Reyes. Bettis is rolling. You're used to a lot of quick outs, mishit balls, but not been the case today. Deep counts. Oh, 0-1 on Rene Rivera. 8 for 19 since the All-Star break, and that's fouled off behind 0-2.
Rivera, probably the hottest hitter in the Mets lineup, besides Neil Walker. 8 for 19 since the All-Star break. That's a .421 batting average. Took Syndergaard 62 pitches to get through 3 innings. Bettis now at 66 pitches.
And the 0-2, that's held by Walters. Foul tip. Rivera saying it hit the ground. It did not. In the inning, Brandon Nimmo drives in another run. They've gotten a run in each inning. Mets are up 3-1. Away in the Bronx, first time that anybody here can recall the Yankees being sellers in late July.
I've been asked a lot by Rockies fans if I think the Rockies are going to make much moves, and my answer has been no. I think the Rockies are pretty happy with the way the group is moving right now, and we've heard Walt talk about it. We heard Bridich talk about it. There's quite a bit of depth in the minor leagues. Some impact available in the minors with some arms.
David Dahl doubled to the opposite field to extend his hitting streak to begin his career to 7 games. He's leading off the 4th with the Rockies behind by 2 runs. And this ball is tailing away, and it'll drop in front of and then get by Michael Conforto. Dahl's going to end up at third base. This kid just keeps impacting every ball game he's participated in. It'll be a single and a 2-base error.
Again, taking a fastball and just shooting it opposite field. Conforto, not known for his outfield prowess, gets a short hop in between. David Dahl, you get a chance to watch him run. You see why I say it so much. It reminds me of Steve Finley. Somebody that can hit the ball opposite field, has some power, can run well.
Single and a two-base error on Conforto, and the Rockies with nobody out. Reynolds at the plate and a runner at third. That's on the inside corner, 1-1. Mark worked the count to 3-2 in his first at bat, and Syndergaard threw the best curveball, really the best breaking pitch period he's thrown the whole game. Froze him right at the knees. And Mark grounds this to third, and Dahl can't advance. I'll bring up Descalso. He saw one pitch, a fastball from Syndergaard, and lined it to right center to bring home Dahl with the Rockies' only run in the second. Now, there's two places that Mark Reynolds could have hit that baseball where the run wouldn't have scored. A comebacker or a ball to third. And that's what he did. Good swing by Descalso. Anywhere in the middle of the diamond, even a ball to Loney on the right side,
scores him,
would score David Dahl.
Well, nobody out, Stu Cole will stand up next to the base runner and say, hey, it's either hit up the middle to the middle infielders or it has to go through. One out typically is a contact. So anything on the ground, even if it is hit to third, take your chance.
And this is a huge at bat for Descalso. Got to get it in play, get that second run home.
Based on the numbers, this is exactly the guy you want up.
This is lifted to Conforto near the wall, and it's out of play. It's one, if you're Dahl, you got to flip all of a sudden and get your right foot on the bag, and not your left foot, because you got to get your head around behind you, which is really unusual.
It is unusual to set yourself up to be able to look and see if the guy is catching the ball in foul territory. And oftentimes you'll see a third baseman stand in front of the bag, try to blind you from the outfielder making the play.
Good eye by Daniel. 2-2. And another base hit for Descalso. He is driven in both runs, getting a start today at third base for Nolan Arenado. And it's been that kind of year for Descalso, whose season started late because of the hand injury in spring training. It's now a one-run game again.
Rhythm and timing, and that's what Descalso has. Nice, easy approach at the plate. He's not afraid to hit with two strikes. The previous at bat jumped Noah with the first pitch fastball for a base hit. Vera wanted to go up. Syndergaard misses location. Descalso, even though he doesn't get it off the barrel, is already hitting .469 with runners in scoring position. That's going to go up.
We'll bring up Adames. The Rockies took advantage of the miscue in left field by Conforto. Got a team in the Mets with a real fragile psyche.
Real fragile, and the fan base right now is probably even more fragile. Might see Descalso take off with a hit and run between Adames and him.
Two and oh. Just the third start for Christian Adames in the second half.
That hit for Descalso raised that batting average to .485 with runners in scoring position.
That's pretty good.
Not bad from a role player.
Bad for anybody. And 3-0 on Adames. So neither one of the starters would you describe as super sharp today? .75 pitches in. And that's in there, 3-1. Just one out in the fourth inning. Pitch count is heavy as well for Chad Bettis. Walters on deck.
Syndergaard came off a start against the Cardinals in the doubleheader 4 days ago where he threw 114 pitches.
Descalso takes off here. 3-2 on Adames. He goes, and it's fouled off. Two hits in the inning. The run in for the Rockies. 3-2 Mets. Top of inning number 4. The ball game was delayed about 35 minutes because of rain at the outset. Descalso going again, and that's called strike 3 and out at second. So a strike him out, throw him out. Descalso's got his hand up. What's he indicating?
I think he thinks he's safe at second base. Jeff Kellogg called him out at home with the strikeout.
Yeah, because the tag came high. Descalso kind of with a hook slide. It's close.
Take a look on the Subaru Supermo. There's his foot touching the bag, and there's a glove touching his leg.
Man, that's close.
That's really close. They're going to challenge. If he ends up being safe, they're going to walk Walters again to get to Bettis.
And then it's huge. Then, as opposed to going 8-9-1, potentially you could have the top of the order next inning. I mean, looking at the pictures we just looked at, it's definitely worth challenging. Man, that's close.
The reason why that tag it, Flores has to be closer to the bag. It's too far in front.
See a lot of middle infielders do that, Spilly. He's way in front.
He's far too far. That's a good throw by Rivera. It's really hard to tell.
Usually you have an idea on these.
Yeah.
I literally have no idea.
And he's blowing a bubble. Wilmer Flores.
Getting bonus points for that, do you? Call was made by Chris Caccione, and safe. So Descalso gets a stolen base. That's big, because if the Mets do, as we were discussing, the same thing they did in this situation in the second inning, they'll walk Walters.
Well, he's safe.
And they will. They'll pass on Walters. And that'll bring Bettis up with 2 on again. You realize for Tony Walters now, this is a milestone.
I know where you're going.
Of course you know where I'm going. Tony now in this ball game has more intentional walks than you had in your entire career, and I'm shocked by that. A little dismayed by that.
I wonder if I was hitting.
I feel for you.
I wonder if I was hitting 8th when I had my intentional walk. I was, you know, top of the lineup type guy. You don't intentionally walk the leadoff hitter, or the 2-hole, or the 3-hole, or the 4-hole, or the 5-hole, 6-hole hitter.
I'm going to run with that also. In your defense.
Yeah. Come on, Bettis.
Terry Collins playing it very conservative, and Chad Bettis will come up. You force also Syndergaard to throw a few more bullets here in the 4th inning. He's in the mid-80s. Now pitching coaches don't count the 4 wide ones.
So subtract 8 since Tony Walters has 2 intentional walks, and those 2 intentional walks are the first 2 of his whole career. Hasn't won 1 game against Syndergaard.
Tell that story. Yes, Noah Syndergaard, you faced him.
Yeah,
he didn't want to. He wanted nothing to do with me. Strikeout of Bettis ends the inning. The Rockies had that connection work again. Dahl got on and Descalso delivered them. And the Rockies are down just a run, middle of 4. As we go to the bottom of the 4th inning, Drew Goodman along with Ryan Spilborghs and Mark Stout. Fans, when the Rockies score 7 or more runs, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. And let's bring in Mark Stout now. Mark.
All right, Spilly, I've got your intentional walk for you. I looked it up here on Baseball Reference. August 5th, 2007. You guys are playing the Braves in Atlanta. You go deep, leading off the 5th inning off of Chuck James.
Okay.
The game was tied 1-1, so you give you guys the lead. The next time you're up, which is bottom 6, Helton had just singled. They bring in Tyler Yates and then Atkins doubles. So you got second and third with first base open. They walk you intentionally to get to Troy Tulowitzki.
How did Tulo
strikes out.
Oh, good play by the Atlanta Braves.
And then Iannetta struck out. And then Aaron Cook flew out. So they got out of a bases loaded situation.
Why didn't they intentionally walk you more? I don't understand it.
Oh, to get the outs for the guys after me? Or
the strategy had worked out.
Let me see where Spilligus was hitting in line. What were you hitting, like fifth?
I think I was leading off.
He was the EH that day. He was hitting 10th.
You were hitting sixth in the lineup.
See, I told you don't walk the 6-hole guy.
You were 2 for 3 in that game. You had a homer, too, in your previous AB.
Take that, Chuck James.
Right.
That's called strike. 1 and 2. Tony, you're going to play 3 strikes today. Tony wanted to throw it down to third. Syndergaard's leading off the 4th inning. You knew Mark would come up with it.
I think in hindsight, the Braves are. Why do we walk Spilworks to face Tulo and Iannetta? Those guys are good. Other guys,
they were puppies still.
That other guy just talks.
You're having a day, man. A bomb and a double. Alejandro Diaz is 2 for 2. Drove in a run with a 2-out single in the second. 3-2 New York. Rockies have won the first 3 games of this series. They've won 5 straight, which matches their longest winning streak of the year. Win a 6th straight, they'll go home, have a day off. They'll be above 500 when they open the series against the Dodgers on Tuesday. Kind of nice not having to look ahead and say, hey, you're going to get Clayton Kershaw. Well, right now, nobody's getting Clayton Kershaw.
That staff has been throwing very well despite not having Clayton Kershaw. Their relief core for the Dodgers has been virtually unhittable.
Well-traveled Alejandro Diaz, 5 teams in the last couple of years. Which means somebody wants you.
Yep.
Bettis with a 1-2 and he gets a strikeout back-to-back. He has 6 of those now. Boy, he's in big-time need of a 1-2-3 inning.
First 20,000 through the gates this Saturday, August 6th, will receive a DJ LeMahieu Ghostbusters bobblehead, courtesy of King Soopers. There's been some really good bobblehead giveaways this year. Blackman, Red 2, Star Wars bobblehead last week was sweet.
Big day, more than 46,000. Star Wars bobblehead. 0-1 on Kelly Johnson. It's 1-1. Slider just off the plate. Big crowds every night. This is Mike Piazza weekend here. And this is pulled toward first. Reynolds a nice play and the shovel to Bettis. And Chad has his first 1-2-3 inning. A couple of strikeouts in that play. So the Rockies in the 5th down by 1 coming up. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. So on a cloudy day in New York, the Rockies will enter the fifth down by a run against Noah Syndergaard. Chad Bettis is strong bottom of the fourth. Blackmon will lead it off. He has nothing to show for two very good at-bats against Syndergaard. A line shot to right, sliding catch made by Brandon Nimmo, and hard ground ball to the right side to the first baseman, James Loney. Seen a lot of pitches has Charlie Blackmon against Syndergaard, who begins the inning with 87 pitches.
It says 87 pitches, but we're going to count it more at this point as 80, just because of the 2 intentional walks to Tony.
One ball, one strike on Blackmon. And this ball ripped to right and into the right field corner. So Charlie in a second base with a double. And after those 2 terrific at-bats, he has something to show for it in his third AB. A leadoff double, tying run at second. First career hit in 5 at-bats for Blackmon against Syndergaard. You said this to me the other night. We were on our way back to the hotel, and you said Charlie's got to be true to who he is, and he's a pull hitter.
He's a pull hitter. And the other day against where he went 4 for 5, he was hitting the ball opposite field, and sometimes hitting the ball opposite field forces you to stay in your legs, forces you to sit back, hit the ball opposite field. And why is that important? Because then once you're on the backside and you're using your legs, now you can get the barrel through the zone. It didn't matter how hard that pitch was thrown. That was a changeup to Charlie.
There's a couple of guys I look at in baseball that are just ideal 2-hole hitters. Martin Prado is one with the Marlins, who's having a great year. And DJ LeMahieu, for me, right near the top of that list, because they're unselfish guys. They go the other way, as we all know so well. They'll hit behind a runner. They'll be patient to give a leadoff guy like Blackmon an opportunity to run. Charlie bouncing way off second. Syndergaard, did he balk? Yep, he did. Syndergaard balked because Charlie was bouncing around, and Blackmon has third. Chris Ciccione made the call. And no argument from Terry Collins.
Charlie bouncing around.
Yeah, he flinched.
There's the flinch. Flores was sneaking up on Charlie. It was close. DJ almost called timeout.
Called strike 2, 1-2. Tying run 90 feet away with nobody out. Gotta read that dirt ball also if you're Blackmon. Syndergaard has uncorked 9 wild pitches this year, tied with the former Met Jonathan Neese for the most in the National League. And this is chopped right back to Syndergaard. What did I say last inning? I said there's 2 places that he can't hit the ball. One's to third and one's back to the pitcher. Last inning, the leadoff man hit it to third. And this time, DJ bounces right back to the box, which puts pressure on Cargo to get it in play here. Cargo's had 2 good at-bats also against Syndergaard. Fly ball to center field and a line drive to deep right. Walker goes to the outfield grass. Flores more up the middle.
The way the defense is set with the Mets right now. James Loney. You just have to put the ball in play. Don't hit it to Syndergaard. That's it. That's the only guy on the field you can't hit it to. You can bunt, you can get jammed, you can hit it anywhere.
Stay off that pitch.
For the pitcher, for Syndergaard, in order to get out of this, you have to rely on a strikeout to Cargo.
Here's the 1-1. And Cargo drives it toward the gap in right center. That'll work. Extra bases for Gonzalez. The Rockies have tied it up on the double by Cargo. And you come back again to the comfort level, just like Blackmon had in the first two ABs, that Cargo had in the first two ABs.
It's just not there for Syndergaard today. It just isn't. The Rockies, despite the velocity that Syndergaard has and the reputation that he has as the god of thunder, the Rockies aren't flinching. They've taken quality at bats. They've raised his pitch count up, and Cargo gets a fastball out and up. Beautiful stroke by Cargo. And a lot of pressure was taken off for Cargo too, just based on how the Mets were aligned.
But you still got to get it in play against a guy who averages better than 11 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's fourth best in the National League. And Cargo, with that beautiful swing of his, got a pitch out over the plate, and he has his 67th RBI, and it's a huge one. It's tied the game at 3. The Rockies were down 3-1 an inning and a half ago. And here's Dahl, who's 2 for 2. And you can see the pattern changing. Syndergaard spinning the ball down and in to David Dahl. After Dahl on the fastball had a double and a single. See if David can adjust within the at-bat. Going to go in there again. Cargo the go-ahead run with 1 out at second. Gonzalez with that double has a 13-game hitting streak, by the way. Pitch 101. And it's on the ground to second. 2 outs for Mark Reynolds.
Amazing part about Cargo in this 13-game hitting streak is 11 RBIs. With that one, make it 12. Only 2 multi-hit games.
He's had big hits though on this road trip. He's having a tremendous year. That's just in on Reynolds. And I know you have the 8 freebies, if you will, the 8 pitches of, honestly, pitching coaches, managers don't count. But it'll be interesting. See if Syndergaard comes out for the 6th inning. 1-1.
Whenever you see Mark Reynolds swinging a pitch like that, he sold out fastball. He was looking to do damage. We've seen him do it in the past. He'll guess during certain counts to cheat. Try to jump on a fastball, pull it out for a home run. Did that 2 nights ago.
1-1. Darts inside. 2-1. Really good approach today for the Rockies. 3 runs, 6 hits for Colorado against Noah Syndergaard. Go-ahead run 90 feet away. And this goes through. And here comes Cargo. Out at the plate. And Cargo says, take a look. And I agree with him. We're watching with our with naked eyes. I thought he got the hand down.
We have the above view. We have the bird's eye view from where we're sitting. And the angle Cargo takes, he jumps
And they're going to look at it. That didn't take long for Brian Jones to let Walt Weiss know. And they got the ricochet, which I absolutely hate. Cargo,
he's in there.
The plate.
He's in there.
The plate. You can tell on that angle. It's a great slide. That is a tremendous slide.
Mets fans are saying he's out. Every single Rocky watching the replay in the dugout, they all just wave their arms saying safe.
It's hard to tell on that one because you can't really see the plate. I don't know if this one will help either.
That's 10 wild pitches now for Noah Syndergaard. That leads baseball. And that was the anticipation for Carlos Gonzalez, knowing that. Oh, I think he's under.
Now Rivera did get the hand wrist area, but it looked like his fingers got to the plate. I talked about this, and I think it was with Huey, probably about a month and a half ago. I think they should pad all of the behind every home plate instead of the, because why should you reward a team for either a wild pitch or a pass ball with the ricochet? And I would say that, you know, it's great when it benefits the Rockies, clearly, right? But you shouldn't get rewarded.
No, it should have been.
The ball should die back there. You got to go get it and flip to the pitcher like you do from literally gone up, and they say he's out. So it remains tied. That'll end the inning. But the Rockies get even on the double by Cargo that delivered Charlie Blackmon. So it's a 3-3 ball game as James Loney leads off, and he bounces this one foul against Chad Bettis in the 5th. The Rockies were, I guess, a fingernail from taking a 4-3 lead. That may have been one of those old, whichever way it was called, it was going to stay, because I don't think there was overwhelming evidence, evidently according to the umpire group on Park Avenue, either way. The overhead look, I thought he got the finger in.
I did too. We just received the MLB email. The call officially stands, not confirmed. Whenever it's a confirmed call, it means it's yes. When it stands, is they can't figure out if it was. You can't overturn it. Just let it be whatever it was.
Tough break, and see if it if it doesn't hit the bricks there, if it hits the Citibank thing, this is up the middle, right at the Adames. 1 out. I just think every ballpark should have to have, you can keep the architectural integrity and have bricks, but in that area it should be padded. You should not have the ricochet effect, because it puts the runner at third in a difficult situation. Ball goes through, it's automatic. You go, and then all of a sudden you turn around, the catcher has the baseball, and you're out by 30 feet. In this case, it wasn't 30 feet, but we've seen that also. It benefited the Rockies earlier this year. And it just shouldn't be. It's rewarding either a wild pitch or a pass ball.
And oftentimes with the wild pitch, you're forcing a collision type play between the base runner and the pitcher that's having to cover home plate.
Walker's 2 for 2, and that's caught by Reynolds. 2 outs. Conforto has hit a couple of ground balls. Looks like Syndergaard's going to continue on. See anybody up in the Mets bullpen. And a curveball for a strike.
The importance for Chad Bettis, 15 starts this season. He's thrown 6 innings or more, and the Rockies are 11-4 in those starts. In career, whenever Chad Bettis goes over 6 innings, he's 21-8.
Retired 6 straight. He's got a 1-1 count on Conforto. And that's bounced to Tom Goodwin.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is now available. Join the millions of subscribers. I'm one of them. Watch every out-of-market game live and in true HD on over 400 devices.
1-2, see you later. Chad Bettis is now officially rolling. We've seen him do this many times. He gets stronger. Struggled in the early innings, 7 straight retired. The Rockies, as we go to the 6th, in a tie ball game with the Mets. Rockies getting after Noah Syndergaard the last couple of innings. They'll have Mark Reynolds to lead off. Here's this week's CenturyLink High-Speed Challenge question. What's the average bat speed for a big league hitter? Here's how folks have voted so far. 85 to 90s received half the votes, and 45% believe it's 75 to 80. Reynolds will resume his at bat, and he takes a breaking ball up high, ball one. Descalso on deck, then Adames. Scott Oberg is up in the Rockies bullpen, and Jerry Blevins is up in the Mets bullpen. That's outside. 2-1. A lot of pitches the last couple of innings for Noah Syndergaard. There's Blevins.
And I think Oberg just starting to warm up is more precaution in case the pitcher spot comes up and the Rockies are going to take a shot to score some runs.
Reynolds is out, and that'll bring up Descalso, who's had a big ball game. 2 sharp singles to drive in runs in the second and the fourth. Both times it was David Dahl. Syndergaard has walked 6. I don't know how many people would have guessed this. Bettis has more strikeouts than Syndergaard. He has 7.
Season high walks for Syndergaard this season is 3.
Now,
Happened 3 times.
He's walked 2, but both of those were intentional. Ball and a strike on Descalso. Rockies at 500 for the first time since May 21st. This is game 105. Basically over the next 57 games. Can you be one of the hotter teams in baseball? If you are, you have a great chance of playing in the postseason. 2 outs. Here's what the wild card standings look like here on the final day of July in 2016. The Dodgers are 2 up. The Marlins and Cardinals in a dead heat for that second and final spot. Then the stumbling Mets 2.5 back. The Pirates, who just traded away their closer, Golden native Mark Melancon, to Washington, 3 back, and the Rockies just 4 back. Adames ground out on a 3-2 pitch, called out on strikes. I suppose what's doubly nice about this run for the Rockies, initially it came at the expense of a team struggling mightily this year in the Atlanta Braves. However, more of it has come against 2 teams above 500. The Baltimore Orioles leading the American League East on the road, and the Mets, despite all the headlines in the Post and the Daily News, last time I checked, they're the defending National League champs, who had a good record when the Rockies arrived, and you know they're still above 500 at 53-50, despite their offensive issues. This is a team that's going to throw high-quality starter after high-quality starter at you to center field, and it'll be caught by Piazza. So the Rockies, for the first time since the 3rd, go in order. We'll go to the bottom half of inning number 6, 3-3. Here's our Kubota pitching performance so far in the ball game. Through 5 innings, Chad Bettis has allowed 3 runs on 5 hits, a couple of walks. He struck out 7. And not atypical of a Bettis outing. Struggles early, and he seems to have settled in, having retired the last 7. And in the 6th inning, he'll see Flores, Nimmo, and Rivera, 6, 7, and 8. Syndergaard got handshakes as he has a discussion with his manager, Terry Collins. Threw 118 pitches in 6 innings. 3-3 ball game. Bottom of 6, and a feeble swing by Flores, a swing of a man that guessed wrong. 0-1. Flores fly ball to left, and he was hit by a pitch in the middle of the back, and he hits this one to the right side. An easy play for Reynolds, 1 out. That's 8 in a row retired now.
What's working for Bettis now is he's able to command the inside part of the plate. He's throwing multiple off-speed pitches. There is no pattern to how Chad Bettis is attacking the Mets hitters, and as we've witnessed over the last 8 batters, they've been pretty feeble attempts at squaring him up. Four of the last 8 batters have struck out.
That's a good looking pitch on the outside corner at 94 to Nimmo. A walk and an RBI single for Nimmo in the 3rd. Walters goes to the outside corner again. It was delivered there at 95, and it's 0-2. Earlier in the week, Tyler Chatwood got his 10th victory. Chad Bettis looking for his 10th victory. We showed Jorge De La Rosa earlier in the ball game. De La resting next to Tyler Anderson. 100th career victory yesterday, and you can tell De La is a man of a few words. He's very quiet, very soft-spoken, very competitive. He's a good guy, very emotional, as we all know. But you could tell after the game and listening to him speak to the media for a while at his locker, though he was, saying all the right things, and he meant them about the team doing well, and it's exciting to be, back to 500. You can tell that the 100 victories, and well it should, means a lot to him.
It's a big number. 100 wins in the major leagues, and given his history, having come from Kansas City and the Rockies picking him up, where he's come from. I mean, the fact that he was a relief pitcher on the verge of being out of the game because he wasn't able to control the strike zone. Puts himself in over 100 wins, and you look at where he ranks amongst his fellow countrymen from Mexico.
Good for Jorge. Hip, hip.
Jorge! You could pretty much say that anywhere, and I'd do,
Strike 3. Paint. And again, it's Tony Walters. We talk about it so frequently. He steals a lot of borderline pitches, especially down.
And that's because of the low target he sets. He can raise up whenever the pitch is down and makes it look like a strike. See how low that target is? Well-located pitch. Not a lot of movement.
Quiet, quiet hands. And of the 8 strikeouts, 3 are caught looking. And that has a lot to do with Walters. Rivera fouls off that first pitch. Got something for you, Spilly, after this 0-1. This ball on the ground is short. 10 in a row set down by Bettis. And here's my little tidbit for you. Right now, every member of the Rockies rotation is at 500 or better. When was the last time? Been a long time, you got to figure. 3-3 going to the 7th. Game. It's an all-new episode of The Club. We go along with the Rockies on their recent East Coast swing. We visit with Charlie Blackmon about a pivotal moment in his career. And we'll take a tour of Babe Ruth's childhood home with Blake Doyle, the Rockies hitting coach. And we'll also recap the month of July. We'll get Spilly and Sully's take on the highs and lows. Not too many lows. All that today after the postgame show on The Club. Chad Bettis has retired 10 straight. His pitch count at 101 as he talks to John Gray in the Rockies dugout. We go to the 7th. The Rockies were down 1-0. They tied it up. Then they were down 3-1. They've come back and tied it up. And they'll have Tony Walters leading off. And on deck, Ryan Rayburn. So it'll be all for Bettis. Jerry Blevins takes over for Syndergaard, who went 6 innings and 118 pitches. Walters has not seen a meaningful pitch yet. He was walked twice, and he takes that bunt with him, and it's going to be a lead single. Man, Tony Walters doing all the little things, isn't he?
I love
what
it.
A smart play.
Well, you know, Blevins, left-handed pitcher, he's going to fall off. Not a great athlete on the mound, and if you look at his numbers, they're ridiculous. One of the toughest guys in baseball to hit against. Lefties 14 for 68 off him. That's a 206 batting average. We know the athleticism of Tony. Such a heads-up play. Not an easy bat for Ryan Rayburn either. You would think lefty-righty. Right-handers are hitting 103 against Blevins.
Well, you know, Ryan's, more of a gap-to-gap guy, a guy who can hit it over the wall. He's coming off the bench. The Rockies have a thin bench today because they're going to stay away from Story. But in a ballpark that doesn't relinquish a lot of runs, does it beg for a bunt here?
Kind of have to, but Ryan's not running well after the contusion from 2 days ago. Not that it matters.
No, it's more about what Walters does as long as you get the bunt down, right?
Yeah, but you're asking a guy that's not accustomed to bunting too often.
What's the argument there? Because some people say, you guys work on it, even, guys that don't typically do it, and sometimes you may be in that situation where that's what the game calls for, even if that's not who you generally are.
And that's why it's so important to pay attention. During every batting practice, the first 2 balls thrown to each hitter, the guy gets the bunt down. And if you take the opportunity to focus in on it, you should be a decent bunter.
Tony Walters does play the game right.
And a bunt to third base, and Rayburn, even with the bad leg, should be able to stand up.
And a wild pitch. Thank you very much. Walters to second. We're going to call that a pass ball. That was a cross-up, and I don't know how you get crossed up with a runner at first, but that's what it looked like. That was the reaction of Rivera, and then he went out and said something to Blevins. Watch the reaction here.
I think he just whiffed it. He wouldn't set up top for an off-speed pitch.
Yeah, you're right. He just whiffed it, so it's a pass ball. That would probably be his second, if not for the ricochet where he dove
that
and
one
got
almost
Cargo.
ricocheted back too.
So you're with me on my idea.
More or less.
Get off the fence. 3-2. Walters the go-ahead run at second. The Rockies have taken advantage of virtually every scoring opportunity in this game. 3 and 6 innings against Syndergaard. Take that every time. Blackman's on deck.
Blevins, a 3-pitch pitcher. Fastball about 88 miles an hour. Throws a changeup and a curveball. A lot of deception, though, and he's not afraid to throw inside.
The old thing about moving a runner over, so you have a runner at second, nobody out. He scores 61.4% of the time this year. If he's at third with 1 out, he scores 63.4%. So it increases only 2%, which probably is surprising to many. Go ahead, drive him in, Ryan. Ball 4. Good at bat for the pinch hitter Rayburn. So he'll go down to first. Sore knee, sore quad and all. 2 on for Blackman with nobody out.
You elected to celebrate Trevor's story during the next player elect game on Wednesday, August 3rd. Now buy the ticket package online and get an exclusive story t-shirt.
Blackman a double to right. His last at bat. 3 good ABs against Syndergaard. A line out and a hard ground out. Saw a ton of pitches. And he was looking to lay down a bunt.
Charlie's going to bunt it towards the third baseman, forcing Kelly Johnson at third to run up and grab it. James Loney at first base will be crashing hard.
Importantly, you have good speed with the lead runner in Walters. He's the key guy in the equation. Charlie had actually a pretty good pitch to bunt there, didn't he?
He was up in the zone, off-speed pitch, mislocation by Blevins. Also throws you a little bit off guard. Slider down and away.
Maybe it wasn't as good as I first thought.
It looked better from up here. Game's easier from up here.
Whole lot, isn't it?
Yep.
Hansel Robles is now up in the Mets pen. And you know what? They ran a daylight play, and Blevins went to the plate, which opened up the whole left side. Rivera then went to back pick, but he dropped the baseball.
A lot of things going on. Wilmer Flores is going to go daylight. Sometimes the pitchers are taught as soon as they do that, you try to get the base runner to go back to the bag and throw the pitch. Rivera looking to do the back pick. Almost whiffed on another ball.
Corner's still looking for a bunt. It's 2-1. And Charlie gets the bunt down. And Rivera wheels. Did he get him? Just did. So Blackman with a sacrifice bunt. Second and third, 1 out. And that'll bring up LeMahieu with a chance to give the Rockies the lead. Dan Wharton's going to come out. This is the pitching coach, so going to be a pitching change.
I want you to take a look at that sheet again where it shows your statistics, and first and second, nobody out. It's one of the few situations where putting a bunt down, giving up an out to advance 2 guys increases your opportunity. For example, if you're to hit first and second, nobody out, and make an out and both base runners don't advance, what's the percentage that you score a run?
So second versus first and second? Yeah. With a runner on second and nobody out, 61.4% of the time the run scores. First and second, nobody out, it drops down to 61%. Almost the same, but to your point, 0.4% less likely, which to many would seem odd, but you have set up a force all the way around, and that probably accounts for it. Now, second and third, 1 out, you score 67.6% of the time, and they're going to pass on LeMahieu and go left on left with Cargo with the bases loaded. Be careful what you wish for. That's what's going through that man's mind right now.
Since we have that little note card out, take a look at the difference between second and third, 1 out, percentage of scoring, and then making it bases loaded, 1 out.
So second and third, 1 out is 67.6%. Bases loaded with 1 out drops down to 65.7%. So you gain 2 percentage points in your favor for the team on defense. And the other thing that Terry Collins is banking on, you have a guy who's been really good this year at Blevins. Left on left against Carlos Gonzalez, who, you know, is not going to be as accomplished left on left as he is right on left. However, this year, left on left, he's been pretty darn good. The last time I checked, it was 275.
Well, 2 nights, Charlie Blackman had 4 hits against Steven Matz, and Carlos Gonzalez had 4 RBIs against Steven Matz. And the first time that you had 2 separate players against lefties have that type of game.
He hits it to center field, plenty deep enough. Cargo's going to get the job done. Tony Walters waits. Here he comes, and the Rockies have a 4-3 lead. Also moving from second to third was Rayburn. Well done, Carlos Gonzalez. His second RBI of the ball game. Both clutched, 68 ribbies, and the Rockies are up 4-3. And they're playing team baseball. Obviously, the last 10 days exceptionally well, but today it has been on display for 7 innings.
Every inning that the Rockies have had a leadoff base runner on, they've scored him. Granted, the Mets have not helped their cause at all by playing some sloppy baseball, but the Rockies, and for a period of time in June, the Rockies were not giving those quality team at bats. So many times were they stranding runners at third with 1 out. When you're playing good team baseball, we're watching it. It's so much more fun to watch this group.
Rayburn at third, trying to read a ball down. First and third, 2 outs. David Dahl 2 for 3. He has scored 2 runs. Cargo left on left this year because of the work he did the other day against Matz. Prior to that at bat, and obviously it doesn't count as an at bat, it's a plate appearance, a sac fly. 281 left on left. He's had a great year. He's getting big hits, big RBIs of late in particular. Dahl drives this one foul into the seats. And we've seen in the early going of David Dahl's big league career a carryover to what he was doing at AA and AAA this year. He's hit left on left.
I just like the fact that when you put David Dahl in the lineup, regardless of where he's hit, he's taking his normal approach. You'll see guys, especially when you get thrown in RBI situations, hitting cleanup. Somebody like Conforto, who's been trying to just yank the baseball, hit it out of the ballpark. David Dahl is doing the opposite.
Runner going, and it's looped foul. So coming back will be LeMahieu. Rayburn at third, a run in, 1-2 count with 2 outs in the 7th. Saw the list of hitting streaks to start their career. I saw a name on there that we haven't mentioned in a long time. Remember, before your time, but Derek Gibson was a football player who was just enormous and enormously gifted. Seven-game hitting streak for Gibson to begin his career. I think he had like a 4-for-4 first game in the big leagues. 1-2 on Dahl. David Dahl's just playing baseball now.
It's fun to watch.
All the hoopla, the fanfare, the looking around. Not that he's not going to be doing that. But now he's back to playing.
Yeah,
Bound 60 feet, 6 inches away. The bag's still 90 feet. Two. DJ will draw a throw.
I just don't think he cares about the environment. I think he just loves playing baseball. He's not wowed by the third deck. He hasn't seemed fazed by it at all. He hasn't seemed fazed by hitting cleanup in a major league game, taking on the Mets. None of those things even mattered.
And a called strike 3 on Dahl ends the inning. But the Rockies create a run on the sac fly by Cargo, and they have a 4-3 lead. Stretch time in New York.
Because Carlos Gonzalez with a sac fly here in the top of the 7th, and the Rocks are up 4-3. I want to go back to this day in 2010 when Carlos Gonzalez had a sac fly, and he also hit for the cycle. Because in that game, if you remember against the Cubs, he hits this walk-off home run against Sean Marshall that was a no-doubter. He had singled to right, tripled to center, doubled to left, line out for the sac fly. and then he hits that home run, and the Rockies win it. Billy, you were in that game, and every time I talked to Cargo, he was like, oh, that's when I could run. That's when I was good. Well, I don't know. He's playing well this year, and I think he's back to being healthy and being that kind of Cargo.
Well, he played well last year, too, after the first 2 months. As we all know, Mark, 40 home runs last year. And today he's taken some really clutch ABs.
Man, has he ever. And in a day where you're facing Noah Syndergaard, arguably one of the best pitchers in baseball, and the quality of bats that the Rockies as a group have put together. Tough at bat against Blevins. One of the best left-handed relievers in the game. Well, you just put in the best third baseman in the game. Nolan on a day off, he's needed.
So he'll replace Descalso straight up, and this is setting up beautifully for the Rockies. Well-rested bullpen.
Yeah,
you got some lefties coming, so you get Boone, and then Ottavino didn't work yesterday. In a perfect world, he handles the 8th. In a perfect world, a guy who was down the last couple of days also, Carlos Estevez, will work the 9th with the Rockies up 4-3. That's how you'd like to see it play out.
That's why it was so important for Chad Bettis to get through 6 innings. It sets up your bullpen exactly where Walt wants it. And even with a guy like Oberg, he's available if you need a matchup this inning. If Logan gets in trouble and there's a righty that comes up, you can use him potentially later on and during the inning. It sets up with as many arms possible to get this sweep.
Cespedes is on their bench, but this will be Justin Ruggiano pinch hitting. And guess who gets the baseball? Nolan. Guess who throws out Ruggiano? I'll save you the baseball cliche. 1 out.
Oh. Well, if you're not loose, now you are, Nolan.
You know, one of my most enjoyable things to watch, Nolan making any play defensively. But I like that I've never seen a guy do this on the left side. He runs he takes like 5 long strides. He has that clock in his head before delivering the baseball. It's almost like, hey, I'm gonna race the guy to the bag, and then okay, I'll throw it. Here's Diaza, and Boone's breaking ball is inside, ball 1. That's dirty right there. That started out, at least from our angle, at Diaz's hip, and then it broke over the outer third of the plate. Lefty's hitting just 143 against Boone Logan. 1-2. His fastball, it's a little bit low. 2-2. Another left-handed bat, Kelly Johnson on deck.
We have James Loney, switch hitter Neil Walker, and Conforto.
It's the first ball that wasn't well received today by Walters, because I thought it was a strike. And
yeah.
Look at the Subaru strike zone. His hands got tied up and he kind of took it out of the zone. We've been able to stick that with the thumb up. Probably would have been strike 3.
And it looked like Kellogg was telling Walters that's probably strike 3, but I can't reward you with that.
So Logan loses Diaza. That'll bring up Johnson. One and 0.
Kelly Johnson 3 for 6 in his career against Boone Logan.
Rockies have 3 on the right side. Logan falls behind 2-0. Three runs, just 5 hits for New York. 4 runs, 7 hits for the Rockies. Boone in 30 1/3 has allowed just 15 hits. That's remarkable. Two and two.
He has such a devastating slider.
You got to figure Johnson's going to see it again here. Slowly hit, and they get the force. Man, that's a big play by DJ LeMahieu. We've talked about it many times. The internal clock of knowing when you can still get that lead runner. It's enormous. You're talking about the tying run at second base. DJ felt he could still get Diaz.
Most second basemen would have turned and just thrown this ball to first base, and how quick DJ is to spin his feet. 6'4" to have that type of footwork, the arm strength to just flip it over to Adames, and Adames does a great job of staying on the bag, not trying to turn the double play, to make sure he keeps that foot on to show Guccione that he was out.
And that's all his intent was. Give him a big target, a throwing lane, get the lead guy. So now it's 2 outs, Loney at the plate, and Loney takes a strike. James Loney, a tough out. In many ways, the toughest out in this Mets lineup right now. In his career, left on left, he's hit .253, .296 against righties. 1-1.
Loney 2 for 5 in his career facing Boone Logan. Very small sample size.
One. Way upstairs. Probably the most pitches we've seen Boone throw in a long time. It's only 15. Seems like, I mean, he's out there, and 6 pitches later, he's in the dugout.
Very easily could have had Daza out.
2-2. Yeah, he had him struck out. Two outs, runner at first. 2-2, bottom of 7. Statistically, Boone's had some really good years, particularly with the Yankees. Came up with the White Sox. What he's done thus far has been his best year. 2-2. Good block by Walters. 3-2.
Gonna go slider.
Ottavino will handle the 8th. If somehow Loney reached, Walt would have a decision with the switch hitter Walker up. Another 3-2 and another foul ball. That's one of the reasons for me that Logan's had the kind of year he's had. He's had the sharp slider throughout the year and great command of it. But he's also had the mid-90s velocity again and the command of his heater.
Last year, that fastball, even though it averaged 92.6 miles an hour, you wouldn't think a jump to 93.1 would make a big difference, but it does.
This is line down the line, and it is a foul ball. You know, we're blocked from where we are behind home plate down that line. I just looked at Loney, and he only took a couple of steps out of the box, which is indicative that he knew it was going to hook foul. Slider again. And he walked him. So that pushes Johnson into scoring position. And it brings up Neil Walker. And it really comes down to, you want to see Walker right-handed against Logan, or do you ask Ottavino to get 4 outs and you have to come up from the left side? Here's your answer. It'll be Foster, not Weiss, going to the mound.
The Super Suites Conference Center at Coors Field is available for game day or non-game day meetings. Groups of 25 to 200 will enjoy the views of the city as well as from the field from this unique meeting space.
Two on, 2 outs. Neil Walker has swung it well all series long. Today an RBI triple and also a single. He lined out to first also. So 3 hard hit balls, all left-handed for Walker against Bettis.
Walker is probably a better right-handed hitter than left-handed hitter. The numbers suggest it. 5 home runs from the right side. And only 77 at bats with the higher batting average at 286.
One strike on Walker. Well hit left center field, going back and gone. 3-run home run, Neil Walker.
Well, Neil Walker just brought all the life back to Citi Field and to the Mets. Fastball, middle. Drove it out to left center field.
That's the first hit allowed in the last 8 outings by Boone Logan. And Neil Walker takes a curtain call. 6-4 New York. Typical of the Mets' sputtering offense this year. When they do score, it's via the home run. Third in the National League in home runs coming in. That was their 133rd. They get more than half of their offense from home runs, which is the highest rate in baseball. 2 strikes on Conforto. And it's hooked to second. That'll end the inning, but now the Rockies have to get back to work on offense. First hiccup for Boone Logan in a long, long time. 2 walks hurt him. Colorado Rockies baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. The Mets have taken the lead on the 3-run home run by Neil Walker. It's amazing how baseball works. You hear that term that guys are streaky. I think everybody's streaky as you look at Addison Reed. Walker was a guy that just couldn't buy a hit for about a month. And over the last several days, can't get him out. And a strike on Mark Reynolds, who's 0 for 3. Reynolds, then Arenado will have his first at bat. Christian Adames after that. And it's 0-2.
Man, it's no easy task for the Rockies to get back in this game with Addison Reed. 15 in the 3rd straight scoreless innings. Only allowed 5 hits and 22 strikeouts since June the 25th.
Just missed off the corner. 1-2. Reed with 25 holds leads the National League. Two and 2.
You also have Joris Familia, who has had the back-to-back blown saves. Curious to see how.
That's strike 3. Reynolds never got to move the bat. Second time he's been called out on strikes today. So that'll bring up Nolan. You know what may help him? Tell me if you agree with this. Not that you didn't want Mark Reynolds to reach. You obviously did. But the fact that he's not the tying run now and it's just get on base for a guy that's been struggling, could that help his at bat here instead of thinking, man, I got to launch one?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and for Nolan, I'm not sure how much hitting he did prior to the game. Rockies did not take batting practice on the field for a Sunday getaway day.
2 strikes on Nolan. We had a conversation for a while this morning with Keith Hernandez, obviously a very accomplished hitter. And he said, when I was going well, I didn't take a ton of swings on the field. Your old teammate Jason Giambi was that way.
Want to save it for the game.
It feels like guys take too many swings now. Reed on 3 pitches strikes out Nolan. 2 outs in the 8th. The day after every Rockies win, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. Use the promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. Up the middle, base hit for Adames. That'll bring to the plate Tony Walters, who's 1 for 1 and 2 intentional walks.
He had that 1 pitch last inning to Daza.
The Rockies are going to be in a situation where they're going to have to pinch hit Nick Hundley.
Can't use Trevor Story today.
Managers are loath to use their backup catcher just in case the guy behind the plate gets nicked. When the Rockies have had to do it with Tony Walters, they'll usually insert him in the game somewhere else. We've seen him at second base, seen him even at shortstop. 1-1. So in case there's an injury, he's in the game and he can put the gear on and go back behind the plate. But the Rockies with just a 3-man bench today, and they've already used Rayburn. Arenado is coming off the bench today. He's obviously in the game. One and 2 on Walters. Swinging it well. Two and 2.
Regardless of what Walters does here, Nick Hundley's going to have to come into the game. Unless you lead off the inning next inning with a Chris Russin.
No, I mean, he's going to.
Yeah, he's coming in.
He'll pinch hit either this inning or next inning.
Yeah, the Rockies will either do a double switch, take Walters out of the game, and Nick Hundley will be behind the plate.
Swing by Walters. Around a while. Addison Reed pitched in both leagues. That'll end the inning. He ends up striking out the side. We will go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Mets on the Neil Walker 3-run home run out front 6-4. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. And by StubHub. Looking for great seats? Head to StubHub, the official ticket marketplace of the Colorado Rockies. It's been a back and forth game. The Rockies were down 3-1. They took a 4-3 lead on a Carlos Gonzalez sac fly. And then Boone Logan, who's had basically an impeccable year, got into a little trouble with 2 outs, a couple of walks, and then he gave up a 3-run home run to Neil Walker. And now the Rockies are on the wrong side of things. Scott Oberg will face Wilmer Flores. Trying to keep it a 2-run game, give the Rockies a chance against Juris Familia in the 9th. Boone Logan's line, 3 runs in 1 inning on just 1 hit. He's allowed only 1 hit in his last 8 outings. But that one was a whopper. Flores with a 1-1 count, 0 for 2. He's hit by a pitch. Chad Bettis will get a no decision. 6 innings of 3-run baseball. Walked just 2, struck out 8, giving up 5 hits. 1 out. Noah Syndergaard, a no decision. He went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs on 6 hits, walked 2. Both of those guys intentionally. It was the same guy, Tony Walters. Brandon Nimmo, a walk, a base hit to drive in a run, and a strikeout. That home run against Boone Logan was the first he allowed more than a year. June 9, 2015 against the then Cardinal Peter Borges. Not a guy you'd expect to hit home run. Goldberg's slider did not get a swing, says Alan Porter. It's 2-1. Hard sinker. 3-1. At 96 on the inside corner, so it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Rockies against Familia will have, in all likelihood, Nick Hundley. And then Blackman, LeMahieu, Cargo beyond that. David Dahl. Strike 3. Nimmo's gone. 2 outs.
A lot of run on Scott Oberg's fastball. And again, Tony Wolters, low target, raise it up. The Subaru strike zone, that's low. That's nice to throw to. If you're a pitcher, the difference between having a runner on first base and watching a guy putting his bat back in the bat rack.
Rivera at the plate. Hard slider swung on and missed. This time around for Scott Oberg, the last at bat notwithstanding, he has been consistently in better counts. Fell behind 3-1 before coming back to get Nimmo.
There's so much more depth to his fastball. A late sink. And the primary secondary pitch for him now is the slider versus the curveball. The curveball, if he left it up, it was a home run. Oh.
Strike 3. Inning over. Scott Oberg does his job. So the Rockies need to put together a 9th inning rally. They're down a pair of runs in Queens. Jeurys Familia is on. He had that run on 36 out of 36. He's blown, though, his last 2 saves at 52 straight overall. Thursday, that was a key play as that bunt stayed fair, and then Adames on a ground ball to the right side. It would have scored a run, and he had to tie it up, but then Loney didn't come up with it. And then a wild pitch, and Dahl would score, and the Rockies won 2-1. They entered the 9th inning down 1-0. In the last 2 innings for Familia, as dominant as he has been, He has given up in an inning and a third 4 runs on 4 hits, and he has walked 4. He's given up runs in 3 of his last 5 outings. So even for a guy with his pedigree, confidence, you would assume not at an all-time high. So it'll be Hundley and then the top of the order. Nick pinch hitting with the Rockies short of man. Story not available. And ball 1.
Familia has great movement with his fastball and has a virtually unhittable secondary pitch with the split finger. But he's shied away from that secondary pitch, rarely uses it now. With his inability to command the strike zone with his fastball, hitters are just waiting for a pitch in the zone to swing at.
Ball and a strike on Hundley. And Nick lines this foul and out of play. Hundley's never faced Familia. Splitter count, and that's what he got. One out. Charlie Blackmon approaching the plate. Who wants tacos? Fans follow at @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 runs or more in a game. Blackmon today 1 for 3 and a sac bunt. Rockies unbeaten this year against the Mets. This is the final time they'll play New York. 6-0. And that is hit hard but foul. We'd like to get somebody on to give Cargo a chance. In the hole. Two outs. And LeMahieu will try to keep it alive for Carlos Gonzalez. 0 for 3 and an intentional walk. Corner.
DJ with one of the highest on base percentages for the Rockies. Do his best to try to make Familia work to get Cargo up.
Yeah, it comes right back to Familia, and the Mets and the Rockies' 5-game winning streak. They salvage 1 out of 4 here in Queens. They do it come from behind fashion on the 3-run home run by Neil Walker against Boone Logan. Tough loss. The Rockies kept scrambling against Noah Syndergaard. They played great team offense. but could not close it out. But the Rockies will head home in a very good place, a 5-2 road trip. They'll head home at 52 and 53. The Mets with the victory are now 54 and 50. Blevins gets the victory. Logan takes the loss, and Familia gets the save. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game all series long about the only bright spot offensively was Neil Walker for New York, and this was his biggest bright spot. A 3-run home run against Boone Logan, the first he's given up in 13 months. He went 9 for 16 in the series. And ultimately, that was the difference in the ball game. The Mets prevail 6-4. The Rockies will have a day off tomorrow. Get ready for the Dodgers on Tuesday, and we're all set for the post-game show. Here's Jenny and Corey.